notes. Damn, now all I really want is enemies.
Hey,
I know they
hey,
intent for me.
hey,
They ain't gonna do shit for
hey,
me. When you
hey,
swerve up in the
hey,
corner, nigga, I hope you hit a tree.
hey.
Break your femur and the knee. The
One
one
you
you
used to call was me.
to get you through your tragedy.
Yeah.
I would hit you with those strategies.
Yeah.
But when I'm in need,
You always treat me casually, actually. You ain't no friends of mine. I'm screaming, hey, 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 yeah. It's all I know. I lost a friend and gained a foe. I guess it's all I know. Yeah. Hey, 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 yeah. It's all I know.
I lost a friend and gained a foe.
I guess it's all I know. Yeah.
I lost a friend and gained a foe. I guess it's all I know.
I lost a friend and gained a foe. I guess it's all I know.
What has this world come to?
I can't even
front you. You my homie, but I really don't even trust you.
Just between us two, I understand I do.
If you put yourself in my shoes, what would you do?
Break me off a few ends like we splitting hairs.
Playing tricks for my amusement.
Like them county fairs.
But here's a double dare.
We should switch these chairs.
If you sitting where I'm sitting,
life was never fair.
When I couldn't pay my fare,
they left me at that bus stop.
Walking in the cold
with the lonely nigga head bop.
With the sour taste in my mouth
like a lemon head drop. Now I got a new op. You would think it's always same the way these niggas flip flop. Man, 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 like an axe chop. Hey. It's all I know. I lost a friend and gained a foe. I guess it's all I know.
I lost a friend and gained a foe. I guess it's all I know.
I lost a friend and gained a foe. I guess it's all I know. Yeah. It's all I know.
I lost a friend and gained a foe. I guess it's all I know.
I lost a friend and gained a foe. I guess it's all I know. I lost a friend and gained a foe. I guess it's all I know. What up? 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 Welcome back to Leroy Mitchell Podcast. Y'all know we on Crazy Talk right now, episode 3, okay? Episode 3. Where Granny at, man? Where Granny at? Where Granny at, okay? Episode 3, Crazy Talk. We talking about what is going on with the grandparents now, okay? And specifically with them not wanting to watch their grandkids, okay? Like, what is going on with the grandparents? Why don't they want to watch the grandbabies? Okay, that's what we're going to discuss today. All right. I feel like, and let me always give my disclaimers. Okay. I'm speaking about me. I'm telling my stories. Now, I'm going to be speaking in general as well because I feel like this topic is applicable to a lot of people, especially in my age bracket, and we're gonna break down the brackets. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all know what a Gen Z is and a boomer and all that age, so you know where you fall. Okay, so when you hear me saying these different terms, I'm speaking or referring to you. And if you agree with some of the things I'm saying, cool, bet. If you don't agree, cool, bet. But just know when I say like a boomer or I say like a millennial, I'm referring to a specific group of people, okay? People within a certain age bracket. So just make sure you understand that, okay? Understand the context, all right? So if I'm talking about you, I'm talking about you. If you get offended, you get offended. If I'm not talking about you, understand I'm not talking about you and listen, all right? Cool, make sure you listen. All right, grandparents. What's going on with the grandparents, all right? So let me get my overall general thought as to what is transpiring currently, okay? And this is in America. I don't know what's going on in these other countries, but in America, this is what I'm feeling and what I'm seeing, okay? So right now, I'm feeling like, okay, the older generations, and we're going to break that down here in a second, they do not feel the need or obligation to pay it forward like their parents or grandparents did. And what I mean by that is a lot of the grandparents right now, and we're gonna explain what they are in the age groups and all that here in a second. They ain't trying to watch the grandkids. They busy doing other things, and it's truly having an impact on a lot of different families in a lot of different ways. So first and foremost, let's break down what these different generations are, so then we can speak a little bit more clearly here. So I got a little chart here. So let me bring this little chart up here so y'all can see what this is real quick. Boom. Y'all can check this out. Okay. So it's a little chart here. We got a little chart. And we're going to break this down real quick so y'all can understand what we got going on here, you know? So, um, if you were born between the years 1925 and 1945, 45, you're a builder, okay? And it breaks down kind of what uh, kind of went down during that time period. So like slang terms, social markets, iconic cars, iconic toys, music devices, leadership style, ideal leader, learning style, influence, advice, marketing. Okay, so kind of break down what was going on during that time period. This is not mine. I did not create this. I don't know who the hell created this, but they created this online. Y'all can find it somewhere. It's somewhere online. Okay, shout out to them. All right, so builders, they saying we prefer, okay, proper English, if you please. Okay, so we had a world war going on. Okay, Model T Ford, roller skates, the record player. Okay, controlling commander. All right, cool. Let's go. So then, if you were born between 1946 and 1964, you would be like a baby boomer. Okay, so like they slang be cool, peace, groovy. Okay. Moon landing happened during their time period. The Mustang, okay. Frisbee, they was playing frisbee. Audio cassettes was in play, okay. Then this next generation, and this is the generation that I'm going to be primarily speaking about, because that is the generation that would be the grandparents per se. Obviously, there are baby boomers still alive that would be the great great grandparents and stuff like that. But we just speaking about the grandparents right now. So Generation X, born 1965 to 1979. Their slang is dude, ace. Ah, that's my son name. Shout out Ace. Rad as if wicked. Stock market crash. The hell kind of car is that? A Holden, Commodore. What the hell is that? The Rubik's cube, a Walkman. Okay. So when I say Gen X, that's the generation that I'm gonna be primarily speaking about because those would be pretty much the grandparents right now. Now this next generation is mine, the Generation Y. Um, so they will be born between 1980 and 1994. So biking, funky, dough. Oh shizzle. What's up? That's lit. They ain't lying. That's pretty damn close. Um, so our biggest crisis was September 11th. That's true. Toyota Prius. I mean, Toyotas was they was going. BMX bikes were lit, and that iPod was there. I ain't gonna front. That's pretty accurate. I grew up on all that stuff. I ain't gonna lie. Everybody had a BMX bike. If you didn't have a BMX bike, you was weak. And you need the iPod. I mean, we did have we had cassette tapes too. We was in the Walkman age, and we was leaving that, and then they had the CD players. They should have did the CD players. They had the thing with the CD, and you could put the CD in. It was kind of like a Walkman, but with a CD. Yeah, that was cool too. I used to walk around with that motherfucker at school too. That was tight. All right, the next Gen Z, born 1995 to 2009. Fire, Fam, Goat, Slay, Yas Queen. So GFC, Tesla model, folding scooter, Spotify makes sense. And then the last one is the Gen Alpha, 2010 to 2024. Lit, yeet, hundo, oof. So they got to deal with COVID-19, autonomous vehicles, fidget spinners, and smart speakers. So as we break this down, just know that when I say like Gen X, Gen Y, that's what we're primarily speaking about today. Okay, Gen X, Gen Y. Now, if you fall in these other categories, that's cool, and we gonna talk about that because I do feel like Generation Z and Gen Alpha are not having kids, and I think that's there's a direct correlation of what they're seeing, and what they're seeing is unfortunately Generation Y not having any help in terms of raising their kids and the way the economy is. So let's get into let's get into a few questions that I have really quick that I just had to ask myself. Um, like what were the economic differences between um generation generation X and generation Y? So I think um and this is all related to grandparenting, like why I believe um generation X was able to benefit from the baby boomers. Like they were able to, it was more close knit. Family was more of a thing, and they were able to have kids, and then their kids be watched by their parents. Okay, um, and now it's Generation X's turn to return the favor and watch the kids for Generation Y so they can go out and, do more in the world, but they're not returning the favor. So, um, when I look at it during Generation X's time, it seems like when they were all, for the most part, like if you were born in 1965, by the time you were let's say 20, by the time you were 20, it was 1985. So much shit was going on. Like you had a real opportunity to make a way for yourself in the world. Like there weren't as many limitations as there are now financially. Okay? Like it was easier to make a buck back then than it is now. People think, oh, it's way easier to make money now. No, it is not. Not when everything costs so much more. That means the companies have to pay so much more for everything, so they are not going to hire as many people, and like it all is a trickle down effect. So during that time, so much was going on in terms of innovation, creation, influx of money coming in, and I ain't gonna lie, in the '80s you had the whole drug stuff going on, so that was going crazy too. But during that time, it was a lot easier and more manageable for them to get by with less. Okay, because that's what this really comes down to, like the economics of it, being able to get by with less. All right, Generation X was able to get by with less than we are now, Generation Y, my generation. Okay, um, because things were simply cheaper. Okay, everything was cheaper. If everything is cheaper, and you're roughly making the same amount of money because people are pretty much making the same amount of money they were back um, then it's going to be easier to survive. So Generation X um, grew up in a time where there were some issues, there was some stuff going on, but not anything truly catastrophic, right? No crazy, crazy wars that hit home here in America. Nothing super, super crazy with like the financial system. Like it was an innovation time. We were like in the midst of computers about to be really taken off, and everyone wanted to be lawyers and doctors, and there was a huge influx of money. Um I remember all of my I remember my mom, and then like all of my friends' moms, like all being able to pretty much do something pretty easily. Like either have a business or go to school for super cheap or do something to be able to make money easier than we can now, or less, or more cost effective than we can now. And in having the ability to do things and pursue things like dreams and goals and stuff like that at a more cost effective in a more cost effective way, it allows you to have more freedom to then do things with your family, to do a lot of different things. And um unfortunately, Generation Y, my generation, we don't have that same liberty. We just don't. So when I look at Gen X and I say, okay, they were born in a time where they had the probably the best chance to make advances in life, like where everything was pretty much, I'm not saying easy, but there wasn't nothing chaotic going on truly here in America that was super hidden home. And the innovation and advances that were happening and coming here were like off the charts. So there were so many opportunities to make a lot of money. The stock market, all that stuff, everything was truly booming during that time, especially when they would have been in their 20s, having kids, things of that nature. Um, Also, um, technology wasn't truly prevalent um, like that in terms of a distraction. There was no social media. There wasn't like 80,000 TVs. There wasn't all these different radio channels and all that. So you kind of had to spend more time with your family. And if you had to spend more time with your family, then obviously the grandparents are going to be more involved. So, Generation X, the baby boomers, they actually watched us. Like I remember going to, so like the baby boomers would be like my grandma. I remember going to my grandma house, the baby boomer, and literally every summer for like 4 to 5 years straight, me, my sister, and my brother would go to my grandma house in Chicago and stay there for the whole summer. So my mom, who's a Gen Xer, would drop me off. I'm a Gen Y to my grandma, who's a baby boomer, and she would leave us there for 2 to 3 months. Like literally from when school would end, a week later we would go to Chicago, and then we wouldn't get picked back up until school ended. So she literally had a 2.5 month break from us, like for like 5 years straight. So like Granny was super involved, even though Grandma lived in a completely different state. Like we were in Wisconsin and Grandma was in Illinois, but she still took care of us for a lot of time, and she also came up to Wisconsin as well to help a lot. And I'm not sure what the differences are in terms of why those baby boomer parents were so involved and willing to do what they were willing to do, but it seemed like they were more of a teaching generation. Like it seemed like they taught their kids how to do a lot of things. Like I feel like the Generation X group, they can do a lot. Now, my generation, Generation Y, I ain't gonna lie, a lot of people in my generation, they don't have many skills because the Generation X didn't pass those skills down that the baby boomers taught them. And it just looked like the Generation X took those skills, then also took the advantages of being in a booming economy that was growing and in the midst of hitting some innovation age that was crazy and allowed them to all become way more wealthy than they would have been if they were obviously in our generation, as they're kind of feeling the effects now. And them not passing those skills down to Generation Y obviously made it harder for Generation Y to then do things in a tougher economy. But the true kicker is that they took the skills they got the Generation X I'm speaking about. They got taught very well by the baby boomers, right? They all got taught something. They then grew up in a great economy where they were able to use those skills to advance and gain a lot. And then instead of taking that and passing that down or paying it forward, they decided to just buy a bunch of things and just keep buying a bunch of things and keep buying a bunch of things. And instead of teaching their kids things, they just spoiled their kids. Like they just spoiled their kids. That's all they did. And I think that may be because when they were growing up as kids, let's say like between the ages of like 0 and 10, the time periods were a little rougher. So maybe they didn't experience, because some awards were going on and stuff like that, they didn't experience a great like childhood in those ages. So they thought that, okay, now that we have stuff, let me spoil my kids. Because everyone in my generation, like Generation Y, we had a great ass like 0 to 10, like 0 to 12. Everybody went to places, everybody went camping, everybody did a bunch of shit. Everybody I know did a bunch of shit in my generation. So Generation X did a great job of making sure between the ages of 0 and 10 for us and Generation Y that we were very entertained. We did a bunch of shit. All of us did a bunch of shit. Like we really did. But we weren't really taught shit. It was more just fun, have fun, go out, play, yada yada yada. While Generation X were still doing their own shit, still working, still yada like whatever they were doing. So now let's fast forward to Generation Y, and let's say now we're all 20, 25, 30, and now we're gonna have kids, okay? Which a lot of us do now. And we all assumed because we were dropped off at the baby boomers, or the baby boomers were taking care of us, that Gen X would do the same for our children. But in fact, that does not seem to be the case. And I've been asking myself why that is. Like, why can't I call my mom and drop off my kids at her house for fucking 3 months? Okay? For 2 months, for a month, for a week, for a day. Okay? Why can't I do that? And I'm not saying all Generation X individuals aren't grandparenting well, because I do know a lot of individuals in the Generation X age demographic that are doing a wonderful job. Okay. Oh, oh, oh. So shout out to all of them. But um, I know a vast majority of people in my generation that tell me they parents, Gen X, ain't doing shit, ain't helping at all, ain't paying it forward at all. And I ask myself, why is that? And I come to a few different conclusions. The first is that they they didn't have to watch us that much. So why would they want to watch our why would they want to watch their grandkids? Right? Like I told you, my mom dropped me off, 2.5 months, 3 months, 5 years in a row, and like to be honest, and then if I give you more of my story, like to be honest, my mom didn't really truly raise me too much, right? So like she didn't really teach me nothing, to be honest. Like I watched and I learned things, but she didn't really teach me things. And then I look at some of my other parents or my other friends and I ask them the same question. I'm like, man, what did your parents really like? No, I was really here. I was there. I'm like, okay, so our parents were in our lives. They were there, but they weren't really in our lives. That's what I'm starting to realize. Like they weren't really taking care of us. Like they had ways to dip us off to places and the times were different. We could run outside all day and not be have anybody kidnap us. Well, none of that about to happen. You had cliques of kids together because there wasn't no social media. There wasn't none of that. You couldn't be in the house all day. You had to go outside. So they didn't really have to watch us like you have to watch. We have to watch kids now, and that's what I'm realizing. Like the one of the biggest reasons why they don't want to do it is because they never truly had to watch us. They took care of us, they provided for us and things like that, but they weren't really involved in our lives. Like they don't really know us. It's just that simple. Like that's my first like main conclusion I'm coming to. Like they like damn. Like mama, that like y'all weren't there. Like you were there, but you weren't even there. I used to always think like that wasn't a thing, but like now I'm like, nah, that's a fucking thing. Like they really weren't there. Like they weren't there. Like if they would go to work, they would go to work like and leave us. Like one of my friends, I stayed with him and his mom was a flight attendant. She would leave for a week and a half, 3 days, 4 days. I don't know how long, but long time. So she wasn't really there. Like, and I'm like, our parents were really just working. Like a lot of them were just working like crazy, like chasing their careers, and they weren't helping us, raising us. Like that's just what it is. And I'm like, that's the reason why they don't really either know how to want to be around the grandkids or want to take care of them or want to watch them, or they just physically can't because they just never did it and their body's just like, nah, man, I've been on my career my whole life, and a lot of those people are career people chasing their career, retired at 65. Now they just want to go be in Florida somewhere and just, I don't know what they want to do. But unfortunately, for Generation X, it didn't pan out that way. because things got real expensive, which is why for us in Generation Y, things are super tough because daycare is 2,000 a month easy for one kid on the low end probably, and the family ties are completely broken due to social media and the cell phone and all these other things. So you can't really take your kid to your cousin's house or your sister's house. Or everyone's so separated. There's no like true family ties anymore. And then when you look at your parents in Generation X, who are supposed to be the grandparents and really help pick up some of that slack for you, they're either still working and chasing their careers, retired trying to not do anything, or struggling because times are hard now and things were easy before and now they don't know how to manage them damn selves. So they can't take on the responsibility of watching your grandkids or watching their grandkids. So my mind wanders and then it goes to a place of like, okay, that's my first conclusion. Then I gotta ask myself, like, what, like, what did, what did they do well? Like, I just like, what did they do well that's like actually benefited us, in terms of, helping us move forward. Um, I'll say, a lot of parents in Gen X did give their kids, a financial head start if they had money. If they didn't have money, you just broke. You just stayed broke. But they did really want to push people going to college, even though that's kind of fucking people right now, unfortunately, with the student loans and shit like that. But they did push education and like, hey, you got to be able to, get a job and get ahead and all that stuff. So that like and working hard, and I feel like Generation X did push that. Like you need to work hard, you need to do that shit, right? Like I feel like everyone in my generation kind of grew up trying to work hard. They kind of fell off the wagon, but um, at least in their childhood ages, I got stories of all my friends having jobs at 11, 12, 13, 14, doing something. Everybody was trying to hustle. Like that was a real big thing. All right. Um, I don't think they loved us well. Like I don't think they showed their love well. Like I said, they were always either gone, distant, we were outside, whatever the case may be. I have a lot of friends that say like they never even said I love you to their parents. I'm like, your parent never told you I love you? What the fuck wrong? My mama at least said I love you. God damn shit. But I don't think our parents showed their love well. Like my mama said I love you, but boy, she did some other motherfucker physical shit to me that let me know like maybe you don't love me as much as you say you do. Help me to put her on blast with the truth. And I think that may have um they may have hindered our our growth ability because I do think as a parent now that you need to nurture your child and raise your child and teach your child how to be a functioning adult. You can't just let your child be running around outside all day, not like developing certain specific skills that are going to be needed in the world and like your child can figure it out, they can, but they also need structure, they need discipline, they need to know that you there and you love them and you support them and you got their back and you gonna be there for them and you there through thick and thin and all that shit. Okay, now I feel like the Generation X didn't do a great job of that. All right, I just don't feel like they did a great job of that. I feel like the baby boomers did a good job of that for the most part. I'm thinking, I don't know for sure, I wasn't around during that time, but from what I'm experiencing, I don't think Generation X did a great job at that. So then I asked myself more questions because I'm just like, why aren't the Generation X people fucking taking care of the kids? Okay. And like, what are the repercussions of the grandparents not being involved? Like, and when I break it down in my head, I'm like, okay, if if you only get one form of love, right? You only get one form of love. Like you only get that love that's immediate from your household, right? Your mom and your dad. And you don't know how to accept other type of love, then as you get older, it's going to be hard for you to deal with people, trust people, stay in relationships, stay in friendships, things of that nature. And to be honest, the easiest way to get a different type of love that is safe is from the grandparents. Like that's that like that free, that joy, that love that's like where you like, man, this is not my mom or my dad, but damn, this person loves me like my mom or my dad. I can really trust this person. And I love them like my mom. And it's hard to develop that unless you have that or unless you receive that love, that different form of love. And I feel like our grandparents not being in their grandkids or our parents not being in their grandkids' lives is stripping them of the ability to learn how to love or to how to accept love from others at a young age. Because you get older, it's hard to accept love. Like you don't trust people. But if you learn how like that loving trust that a grandparent gives to a child, that joy, that this person makes me happy. This person is not my. I can talk to this person. Like you can speak to your grandparents how you can't speak to your mom or your dad. You can tell them things. You can confide in them. Like that's gone. Like my kids ain't about to have that. And I had that. I could say, yo, man, my mom tripping, and my grandma could be like, yo, listen, this is why I can understand her more. But our kids ain't gonna have that. And I feel like that's a huge repercussion of Gen X not being involved in a damn grandkids' lives. Okay, it's that's the biggest one. If I had just stopped right there, that would be enough for me. Because at the end of the day, if you're devoid of the ability to accept love, like from multiple different sources, life is going to be hard. And the first introduction to that, I believe, is through your grandparents. And unfortunately, my kids ain't getting that. All right, I'm in Generation Y. My kids ain't getting that, and the shit sad. The shit fucking sad. Um, and then I go on a little bit further. I'm in tangents in my mind. I start going down the rabbit hole, like what the fuck is really going on, and why aren't our my parents and everyone else's parents that belong to the Generation Y demographic that aren't truly taking part in their grandkids' lives, like why are they not doing it? And the final true conclusion that I come to in my mind is that at the end of the day, they just selfish. They selfish, man. I ain't gonna lie. They selfish. Is what it is. They grew up. They got something a certain way, and they used to it a certain way, and they ain't trying to come. They stuck in their ways, man. All right. Generation X, those individuals are very stuck in their ways. Everybody I know from Gen X, it's hard to get them to change their motherfucking opinion on anything. On anything. They are stubborn as shit. And I think that's the fucking problem. They're too fucking stubborn to watch their damn grandkids right now. They want to go still do what they would if they're male. They want to go build some shit, fix a fucking car, do some shit like that. Still go in the wood shop. I don't know. If they're a woman, they want to bake some shit, turn on motherfucking somebody on TV, the View or something. Go in their garden or I don't know what they want to do, but they ain't trying to watch the grandkids. Okay, they just selfish. All right, and I think for us in Generation Y, because we get to see this happening, we're gonna be if we can manage because another huge ramification of Gen X not being involved in Gen Y um, kids' lives is that it affects Gen Y's relationships. Okay, like it's really hard to keep a stable relationship if you don't have help with your kids. How the hell you gonna have date night? How you gonna have any type of break or any of that stuff? Okay, this is why everybody in Gen Y divorcing. Okay, you say, oh, Gen X, we married 30 years. Yeah, motherfucker, because y'all had help and shit. All types of help. Shit, y'all have to deal with the stress we gotta deal with, and everything expensive as shit. So on top of the financial stress, motherfucker, we got the kid stress, and then we got the social stress because of social media. Hey, shit is crazy right now. Okay, and we need the help. So Gen X out there, hey, everybody in Gen X, y'all need, if you're not helping your kids right now, okay, with their kids, you are failing. Okay, you are failing society. If you're in Gen X right now and you ain't watching your grandkids, you are a failure. I am letting you know right now. You need to be watching your grandkid at least 2 to 3 times a week. What the hell else are you doing? I know your body don't work that damn well no more. You ain't out there skiing and jumping off damn bridges. You need to be in the crib knitting some shit with grandkid on the lap like this, okay? Stop playing games. All right, and granddad, you need to have a little boy in the wood shop with you, teaching him how to build shit. You in there by yourself, building and shit. Bring the little boy in there with you, okay? He trying to learn some shit too, cause you sure didn't teach us. So if you ain't teach us how to build some shit, at least teach your damn grandkid, okay? Cause I feel like there's a problem. It's a fucking problem, okay? Grandparents, if you want to receive love, okay, you got to give love. And remember, if you in Gen X, you real close to that time where it might be diaper change time for you, and you gonna need Gen Y to come and change that diaper. But listen, we gonna remember when you said you was too busy to help watch the kids. I might be too busy to come change the diaper. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But all in all, I'm not knocking no generations, but I do believe that we need to do a better job as a whole of coming together as a family. If you know are apart from your family, or you guys have had some differences in the past, and start building community and building tribe and building all these things that we've lost, because without it we're going to be screwed. And I think a lot of people don't truly understand the negative impact that the disconnect the family has been shown to have currently is going to have on future generations. Like, people aren't having kids. That's the negative impact. Like, people aren't having kids because, one, they don't believe they're going to have the help, and two, everything costs too much. So as Generation Y individuals, we got to make sure we do good for the next 2 generations, all right? And make sure we help our kids with their kids. And Generation X, step y'all fucking game up, because y'all motherfuckers lazy, all right? Y'all ain't doing shit. Help, okay? Grandma, granny, we need granny help. Where granny at? Man, damn, where granny at? All right, y'all. Hey, it's your boy Leroy Mitchell, man. We back with crazy talk, just some fucking crazy talk. We just talking crazy, y'all. We just talking motherfucking crazy here. Next time on the Leroy Mitchell podcast. Next time on the Leroy, hold on, let me get that in here. Next time on the Leroy Mitchell podcast, we're gonna get some different type of crazy talk. We're gonna get some conspiracy talk. So, I believe that uh anything and everything is real. And the first thing I'm gonna talk about that I believe that is real, and it's always been real, are aliens. Okay? I'm gonna break down why I believe aliens are real, why I believe they've always been here, okay? And why I believe that the government has been in cahoots with the aliens since at least the 40s. Okay? But I think aliens have been contacting certain individuals, or are certain individuals, or who knows, I might be one, you never know. They've been around since we've been around. Okay? I think everything is all in existence all the damn same time, right? I just believe that. But make sure y'all like, share, subscribe to your best friend, your mama, your daddy, your granddaddy, all that. And make sure you stay blessed. All right, it's your boy Leroy Mitch. I'm going to leave y'all with my song, Fo. Hey, catch y'all next time.
And I feel like everybody just losing friends, man. Like,
I lost a friend and gained a foe. I guess that's all I know.
Real at all? Like, I don't know, but it's all I know. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
It's all I know. I lost a friend and gained a foe. I guess it's all I know. Hey.
I lost a friend and gained a foe. I guess it's all I know.
Hey.
I lost a friend and gained a foe. I guess it's all I know.
Hey.
Yeah. It's all I know.
Hey. Stay blessed, y'all. Have a good one. All right, your boy Leroy Mitchell.
I lost a friend and gained a foe. I guess it's all I know. I feel like Ali playing rope a dope.
Man, life is such a